What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So it looks like the rematch is going to happen. I don't think that really comes as a well, I don't think it comes as too much of a surprise to anybody because I feel like we all kind of saw this coming. All right. So Errol Spence it has been clarified that Errol Spence will be activating his rematch clause. Now there's not been any dates or anything like that set, but Bomac has spoke on it, so you know how I do it. I do the research, you guys sit back and listen, and then we're gonna talk about it, put our opinions on it, all right? Oh, shout out to Boxer24, says breaking, which is not really breaking, we already kind of saw this coming. Errol Spence activate rematch clause to fight Terence Crawford again. Says trainer Brian Bomac McIntyre has confirmed Errol Spence Jr. has activated his rematch clause to fight Terence Crawford in a move that ties Omaha, Nebraska native's hand for the remainder of the year. Bomac said he's not sure when the Crawford-Spence rematch will occur, but he's hoping it'll be before the end of the year. If it's dragged into the first quarter of 2024, it'll limit Crawford's options for a big fight. Bomac will need to get off his high horse and humble himself if Crawford loses the rematch with Spence. Crawford had been talking about wanting to fight Canelo Alvarez versus Jermell Charlo winner next, but that is not happening now that the former unified welterweight champion Spence has exercised his rematch clause. Crawford can now forget about his hopes for battling for the undisputed at 168 because, well, that's not true. That depends on when the rematch. If the rematch is, because listen, if Canelo, I hate that I'm even talking about this because I just feel like this is a fight that shouldn't even be talked about. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna talk about it anyways. If Canelo and Jermell Charlo fight this year, they fight in September 30th, right? We already know Canelo's not gonna fight again until May. So if Crawford and Errol Spence fight like maybe December, what is it? They're gonna have to get the ball moving if they plan on fighting. And if it's gonna be in this year, it's gonna have to be in December because it's already towards the end of it's the last day of August. September's tomorrow. So yeah, they're gonna have to get the ball moving fast. But if I'm sure, like if they get it cracking, like December, January, maybe February is pushing it. I don't know, early February. They could get something going by May. I don't know though. February is kind of pushing it, so it got to be like either December or January. When the fight happens, in order to make that happen. But anyways, it says Crawford can forget about his hopes of battling for the undisputed at 168 because he will have his hands full with a motivated and likely in top shape Spence at 154. So I'm guessing this person is more of an Errol Spence fan based off of how this is perceived. Perhaps it's for the best because Crawford is too small to fight at 168 and has no business fighting at that weight class. That I do agree with. It already looks bad that Canelo is skipping over Benavidez and Morrell to defend against the WBO pounder Jermell Charlo. I guess they meant to say 154 pounder Jermell Charlo on September 30th. But if he faces Crawford next, that will take the cake. In my opinion, I agree with that 100%. Canelo will be using Crawford to duck Benavidez and Morrell, and that's utterly pathetic. If Canelo lacks the courage to fight the Sharks at 168, he must vacate his belts. I agree with that 100%. Also, Canelo will get dumped on by the boxing public, except for the Canelo fanboys. They're pretty dumb. They'll just justify it. If he defends his undisputed super middleweight champion against Crawford, a welterweight, instead of existing fighters in the weight class like David Benavidez, David Morrell, and Demetrius Andrade. Don't shoot the messenger. I've been saying this though. Bomac seemed happy today while revealing the news of Spence forcing a rematch with Crawford. It's pretty clear from Bomac's reaction that he feels like it's going to be an easy job for Bud Crawford. So according to Bomac, he said, he just texted me yesterday, Spence activated his rematch. It's confirmed. We don't have a date yet, said Brian Bomac McIntyre to pro boxing fans about Errol Spence exercising his rematch clause for the second fight against Terence Crawford. I'm hoping, Bomac said when asked the expects of Crawford and Spence rematch will take place before the end of the year. Bomac didn't say what weight will be for the rematch, but it's likely that Spence will be asking for it to take place at 154. Crawford is moving up there anyway, so he won't make a big deal out of it. Now, if Spence asks to have the rematch to occur at 160 or 168, Crawford probably will reject that notion because he will be fighting Errol at his best instead of a slightly drained version. Floyd Mayweather said recently that Spence should move up to 60 or 68 because he feels like that's where he will be his best at. All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so again, man, you know, I don't think this really comes to a surprise, bro. It looks, if I'm gonna go ahead and take a wild guess, I'm more than sure the rematch will be at 154. Errol Spence said that's where he wanted to fight at. Terence Crawford actually stated that he was having issues or a little bit of issues making 147. So I'm more than sure that it'll be at 154 for the rematch. Now, here's the thing though that kind of makes me wonder if Terence Crawford is serious about going up to 168 to fight Canelo Alvarez, bro, I would think that he wouldn't have a problem with fighting Errol Spence at 160 if you're serious about going to 168 to fight Canelo or Jermell Charlo. You know what I'm saying? So, but I mean, all that is just hearsay. I mean, we don't know. I'm pretty sure we'll get information within the next few weeks or month or so, something like that. All right. Now, I do understand a lot of people is more so like, well, what is the rematch for? We don't need the rematch. We see what happened in the first fight. But there are still questions that maybe so much like the Errol Spence. Like, I'm an Errol Spence fan myself, and I'm a Crawford fan as well. I just remember following Errol Spence in the amateurs or whatnot, so I was like more close to Errol Spence or whatever. But being a fan of both, I'll just put it like that. I'm a fan of both fighters. It is questions that I have. Now, granted, do I feel like the outcome will change? No, I think that Terence Crawford, because even though a lot of people like to rely on the fact that, man, that just doesn't seem like it was the best Errol Spence, and indeed, you know, you can't say. I hate when people's like, oh, you're making excuses. No, we're not making an excuse. We're just stating what we saw. Like, I remember I have a text message. I text one of my boys, like when they was showing Errol's face, like on, you know how like they show the fighters and you know you hear all the fans screaming and stuff like that. They was showing Errol's face and he was just sitting there looking like I don't know. And I remember texting my boy, I'm like, bro, why the hell does Errol Spence look so high? Like, he almost looks just like, I don't know if the word, if relaxes, too, I don't know. He didn't look like himself, all right? Now, the questions that we have for that is like, is it because Terence Crawford is that much better? And those are natural questions for a fight of this magnitude. You got to think about it, bro. We've been asking for this fight for 5 years, and we finally got it. And Errol Spence gets whitewashed. Terence Crawford obliterates him, right? So naturally, there's gonna be questions like, dang, I low-key want to see it again to see, like, bro, is Terence Crawford just that much better than Errol Spence, or did Errol Spence have a bad night? Was Errol Spence drained? You know, like they said. Regardless of what any questions that you have, you can't use that against, or you can't hold that against Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford came in there and did the damn thing. Personally, what I believe, I believe the fight may be, I believe at 154, Errol Spence might be more durable. But what makes me believe that Terence Crawford was just a better fighter, or is just a better fighter, is because he solely beat Errol Spence off of skills alone. Now, Errol Spence, you know, obviously, like, we thought that he would be able to bully Terence Crawford more, and Terence Crawford stood his ground and was strong with Errol Spence or whatnot. But Terence Crawford was catching Errol Spence coming in, timing him coming in. Errol Spence did look like he was like a little lethargic at times. I don't know, man. It is, like I said, it is questions that, like, you know, we might have, but again, don't look at it as, oh, you're making excuses. It's just like, bro, we just, you know, some people just want to know, dang, is he really that much better than Errol Spence? And, you know, vice versa. But I personally, I think the outcome, I think Terence Crawford wins. But I do want to see if Errol Spence may be more durable, maybe he's better, maybe he feels more energetic. I don't know, man. Maybe he has his legs underneath him more because, quote unquote, maybe he was drained. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Are you interested in watching the rematch? Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Who do you see winning? But what do I know?